Over the past 78 years, Citizen Kane has held the title as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, films of all time. Orson Welles debuted his career by not only producing the film, but writing, directing, and starring in the 1941 picture as well, although not all credit can be given to him for his success.
He came to me, you know. I didn't ask for him. One day in the office, they said, there's a man called Toland waiting to see you. And he was, of course, the leading cameraman. And he said, I want to make your picture. And I said, well, that's wonderful. Why? I don't know anything about movies. And he says, that's why I want to do it. He said, because I think if you're left as alone as much as possible, we're going to have a movie that looks different. I'm tired of working with people who know too much about it.
His videographer, Greg Toland, brought a lot to the table by using shadows and contrast between foreground and background to strengthen the film's message and form. For example, in the beginning of the film, Toland uses strong backlighting when showing the room full of reporters investigating Kane's death. This is clever because it keeps the audience focused on what the reporters are trying to discover rather than the reporters themselves. This lighting also adapted a new sense of film noir. The year before Citizen Kane's debut, the film Stranger on the Third Floor was released and considered the first film of the noir genre. Welles took a unique spin on noir while the style was still being developed. Instead of detectives investigating a murder, Citizen Kane has news reporters investigating the circumstance of Charles Kane's death. Also, instead of using shadow to show monsters and murderers, Toland used it to show circumstances and mood. Following that, Emily Kane takes on the role of the innocent woman.
What do you do on a newspaper in the middle of the night?
Emily, my dear, your only co-respondent is the Inquirer.
While Suzanne Alexander is the femme fatale.
But of course I'm not high class like you, and I never went to any swell school.
That'll be enough, Susan.
A sense of noir is also used in Toland's common use of mirrors and strange camera angles. For example, the low-angle shot during Kane's conversation with Leland after the controversy arises over Kane's affair with Suzanne is used to show a sense of intimidation and hostility. This is extremely powerful because, as mentioned in Richard Barson's book, Looking at Movies, these angles are usually used to show a literal looking up to something and giving it a positive tone. In terms of content, I would say Citizen Kane is most bold for its explicit meaning. When they finally show that Rosebud was a reference to his childhood sled, it becomes apparent to the viewer that the key concept behind the movie is that money is not the key to happiness, as Kane had more money than he knew what to do with, but was never properly loved, leaving him to die an unhappy death. This goes along with another strong technique used in the film, which involves always showing Charles in the background during scenes when the attention is drawn to the people in the foreground making some decision that will play a role in the plot in Kane's inevitable disappointment. This weighs on the fact that the decisions, though not his, are still very relevant to his circumstances. I could never fully explain the complexity and cinematic genius of this film, but similar to what Jerry Thomas, the main reporter, says at the end of the film, I don't think any word could explain a man's life.